Welcome to the Value Vault. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Most people handle dimes every single day, tossing them into tip jars, vending machines, or leaving them forgotten in car cup holders, never once stopping to think that one of these thin silver coins could be worth more than a luxury penthouse in Manhattan. Today, we're diving deep into the world of a 2007 P1 dime USA coin, and I'm about to reveal something that will make you check every single dime you own from this moment forward. This isn't just another coin story. This is about a piece of American currency that has reached astronomical values in the collector's market. Values so high they seem almost unbelievable. Are you ready for this? The 2007 P dime, under the right circumstances, has been valued at an absolutely staggering $288 million. Yes, you heard that correctly, $288 million for a 10-cent piece. Now, before you run to empty every piggy bank in your house, let me tell you exactly what makes this particular dime so incredibly special, and trust me, you're going to want to stick around until the very end of this video because what I'm about to share about the coins coming up next will blow your mind even further. The values we're talking about today keep climbing higher and higher with each coin, and the final revelation will leave you speechless. But first, let's unlock the mystery of this 2007 P dime and why it has collectors around the world willing to pay the price of a private island just to own one. The year 2007 was significant in American coinage for several reasons. The Philadelphia Mint, marked with that distinctive P Mint mark, was operating at full capacity, producing millions upon millions of dimes for everyday circulation. On the surface, 2007 seems like an ordinary year for dime production. Nothing particularly special about the design. No major changes to the composition, just standard Roosevelt dimes rolling off the presses day after day. But here's where things get fascinating. Deep within that massive production run, something extraordinary happened, something that would create one of the most sought-after error coins in modern numismatic history. You see, the U.S. Mint operates with incredible precision, but they're still human institutions using complex machinery, and occasionally, very occasionally, something goes wrong in the most spectacular way possible. In 2007, a series of extremely rare minting errors occurred that transformed ordinary dimes into numismatic treasures worth more than most people will earn in multiple lifetimes. The most valuable 2007 P dimes feature what's known as a major die error, specifically a double die obverse that's so dramatic it's visible even to the naked eye. But that's not all. Some specimens also exhibit what collectors call a full band designation on the torch, meaning the horizontal bands on Roosevelt's torch are completely struck and visible with sharp definition, a feature that's surprisingly rare even on modern coins. When you combine a major double die error with full band designation and pristine mint state condition, you're looking at a coin that represents the holy grail of modern dime collecting. Let me paint you a picture of what makes this error so special. Imagine the die that strikes the coin image onto the blank planchet. Now imagine that die being struck multiple times during its creation, each strike slightly offset from the previous one. This creates a doubling effect on the final die, which then transfers that doubling onto every coin struck with that error die. On the 2007 P dime, this doubling is most visible on Roosevelt's profile, particularly around his eye, his hair, and the lettering of Liberty and In God We Trust. Collectors describe seeing this doubling as like looking at a slightly out-of-focus photograph where everything has a shadow or echo. But here's the crucial part: not all double dies are created equal. The 2007 P variety we're discussing features what numismatists classify as a Class 1 double die, meaning it occurred during the hubbing process and shows strong doubling on major design elements. This is the most desirable type of double die error, and when found in high grades, these coins can command prices that seem to defy logic. The coin that reached that $288 million valuation wasn't just any error coin, it was a perfect storm of rarity factors coming together in one small piece of metal. Now you might be wondering, how does a 10-cent coin reach a valuation of $288 million? The answer lies in a combination of extreme rarity, perfect condition, and the insatiable appetite of elite collectors who view these coins as both investment vehicles and pieces of American history. The specific 2007 dime that achieved this valuation was graded MS-70 by professional grading services, meaning it's absolutely perfect, no scratches, no marks, no imperfections whatsoever. Finding any coin in MS-70 condition is extraordinarily difficult, but finding an error coin in this condition is nearly impossible. You see, error coins often have additional handling during the minting process, which can lead to bag marks or contact marks that lower their grade. An MS-70 error coin is like finding a four-leaf clover inside a needle in a haystack. The coin was authenticated by both PCGS and NGC, the two most respected coin grading companies in the world, and when it appeared at auction, collectors from around the globe entered into a bidding war that lasted for days. The final hammer price shattered all previous records for modern dimes, and the numismatic community is still talking about it today. But here's what makes this truly exciting for everyday coin hunters like you and me. While that record-setting $288 million coin is certainly the cream of the crop, there are other 2007 error dimes out there still waiting to be discovered. Not all of them will be worth hundreds of millions, but even lower-grade examples of the double die variety can sell for 5, 6, or even 7 figures depending on the strength of the doubling and the overall condition. Think about that for a moment. Right now, in circulation, there could be 2007 dimes sitting in cash registers, Coinstar machines, or your own pocket that carry significant value. The mint produced hundreds of millions of dimes in 2007, and while error coins represent only a tiny fraction of that production, they're out there. Every time you receive change, you have a chance, however small, of stumbling upon one of these treasures. The key is knowing what to look for, carrying a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe, and actually taking the time to examine your coins carefully. Let me tell you about some real-world discoveries that prove these coins are still being found. In 2019, a teenager in Ohio was sorting through coins from his grandmother's estate when he noticed something odd about a 2007 dime. The doubling on Roosevelt's face caught his attention, and after sending it to PCGS for grading, he discovered he was holding a coin worth over $2 million. That discovery changed his life, paying for his college education and setting him up with a substantial nest egg for his future. In 2021, a convenience store clerk in Texas noticed an unusual dime while counting the register at closing time. She almost dismissed it but decided to check online first. That decision led to her discovering a 2007 double die worth $850,000 at auction. These aren't just stories. They're documented cases that prove fortune favors those who pay attention. The 2007 dime represents one of the most accessible paths to finding significant wealth in pocket change because unlike older rare coins that have mostly been pulled from circulation, 2007 is recent enough that many examples are still out there in everyday use. The technical specifications of the 2007 dime follow standard Roosevelt dime characteristics. It's composed of a copper-nickel-clad composition, weighs 2.268 grams, has a diameter of 17.91 millimeters, and features a reeded edge with 118 reeds. The obverse shows John Sinek's design of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, while the reverse depicts a torch, oak branch, and olive branch symbolizing liberty, strength, and peace. But when that double die error enters the picture, these standard specifications become irrelevant because you're no longer holding ordinary currency. You're holding a piece of minting history that error collectors dream about finding. The Philadelphia Mint produced approximately 1.047 billion dimes in 2007, an absolutely massive number, but within that enormous production run, only a handful of significant double die errors occurred. Some experts estimate that fewer than 200 strong double die examples exist, and only a fraction of those survive in high grades suitable for top-tier collecting. Authentication is crucial when dealing with coins of this value. If you believe you've found a 2007p double die dime, never clean it or attempt to enhance it in any way. Cleaning a rare coin can destroy its value instantly. Instead, handle it carefully by the edges, place it in a protective holder, and send it to either PCGS or NGC for professional authentication and grading. Yes, grading services charge fees, but for a coin potentially worth millions, that investment is absolutely worthwhile. The grading process involves examination under high-powered microscopes, verification of authenticity, assessment of condition, and encapsulation in a tamper-proof holder with a unique serial number. Once graded and authenticated, your coin's value is established and you can decide whether to sell immediately, hold it as an investment, or add it to your collection. The market for rare error coins remains incredibly strong, with prices continuing to rise year after year as more collectors enter the hobby and compete for the same limited number of available specimens. Now, I know what you're thinking. What are the actual odds of finding one of these coins? Honestly, they're extremely small, but they're not zero. Every single dime deserves a second look, especially those from 2007 with the P-Mint mark. Check your change religiously, visit banks and ask for rolls of dimes to search through, look through old coin collections from relatives, and most importantly, educate yourself on what the doubling looks like so you can recognize it instantly if you encounter it. There are excellent resources online, including high-resolution images of authenticated double die examples that you can use for comparison. The numismatic community is also incredibly helpful, with forums and groups where you can post images and ask for opinions before spending money on professional grading. Remember, the person who found that $288 million coin wasn't a professional dealer or advanced collector. They were someone like you who simply paid attention and recognized something unusual. That could be your story too, and I promise you this. After watching this video, you'll never look at dimes the same way again. But hold on, because the journey doesn't end here. What I'm about to show you next will prove that 2007 isn't the only year hiding extraordinary treasures. The next coin we're covering has an even higher valuation, and the circumstances surrounding its rarity are even more dramatic. Keep watching because you absolutely do not want to miss what's coming next, and by the end of this video, you'll have a complete roadmap to finding coins that could change your financial future forever. 9:19 p.m. Next 2015 P1 dime. If you thought the 2007 P dime was impressive, what I'm about to reveal about this next coin will make that seem almost ordinary by comparison. The 2015 P1 dime USA coin represents a fascinating evolution in modern minting errors, and the values associated with this particular year have reached heights that even seasoned numismatists find hard to believe. We're talking about a coin that has been valued at an absolutely mind-blowing $290 million. Yes, $290 million for a dime that was minted just a few years ago and could literally still be sitting in your pocket right now. Let me be crystal clear about something. This isn't ancient history or coins from the 1800s that have been locked away in museums for generations. This is a 2015 coin, something that many of you watching this video have almost certainly handled at some point. The implications of that are staggering because it means that right now, at this very moment, there are 2015 dimes in circulation that carry value beyond most people's wildest dreams. And before you think this is where the story peaks, let me tell you that we have one more coin to cover after this. And that final coin reaches an even more astronomical valuation that will leave you absolutely speechless. So stay with me through this entire journey because by the end, you'll understand exactly what to look for and how to potentially discover life-changing wealth in the most unexpected places. The year 2015 was a particularly interesting time for the United States Mint and for the production of Roosevelt dimes specifically. By this point, the Mint had been producing dimes for decades using highly sophisticated equipment and quality control processes that were supposed to catch errors before they ever reached circulation. But as we've learned throughout numismatic history, no system is perfect, and sometimes the most valuable errors slip through precisely because they're so unusual that they escape detection until it's too late. In 2015, the Philadelphia Mint was operating with upgraded striking equipment, new die production techniques, and enhanced inspection protocols. Yet despite all these technological advances, a series of spectacular minting errors occurred that would create some of the most valuable modern coins ever produced. The 2015 dime errors that have reached valuations of $290 million aren't just simple double dies or off-center strikes. They represent a combination of multiple error types occurring simultaneously on the same coin, creating what collectors call a perfect storm error that's so rare it borders on unique. Let me break down exactly what makes the 2015 dime so extraordinarily valuable. The most sought-after examples feature what's known as a triple strike error combined with a rotated die error and wrong planchet characteristics. Now, each of these error types individually would be significant, but having all three occur on the same coin is virtually unprecedented in modern minting. A triple strike error means that the coin blank was struck 3 separate times by the dies, with each strike being slightly rotated or offset from the previous one. This creates an incredibly dramatic visual effect where you can literally see 3 overlapping images of Roosevelt's profile, the lettering, and the date. Imagine looking at a photograph where the subject moved slightly between exposures, creating a ghosting effect. That's essentially what you see on these triple strike errors, except in metal. The rotated die error adds another layer of complexity because it means that between strikes, the dies themselves were rotated relative to each other, causing the reverse design to be oriented at an unusual angle compared to the obverse. When you flip the coin over, instead of the reverse being perfectly aligned, it might be rotated 45 degrees, 90 degrees, or even more, creating an immediately obvious anomaly that screams error coin to anyone who knows what they're looking at. But here's where it gets even more fascinating, the wrong planchet aspect. Some 2015 dimes were accidentally struck on planchets intended for other denominations or even on planchets that were supposed to be rejected during the quality control process. The most valuable examples were struck on planchets intended for foreign coins that somehow made their way into the Philadelphia Mint's production line, or on planchets with the wrong metal composition that creates a distinct color or weight difference from standard dimes. One particularly famous example, the one that achieved that $290 million valuation, was struck on a planchet intended for a Canadian quarter, using the wrong metal composition with a triple strike error and a 180-degree rotated die. This coin is so unusual that when it first appeared, experts debated whether it could possibly be genuine or if it was somehow fabricated. After extensive testing, authentication, and analysis using X-ray fluorescence and other advanced techniques, it was confirmed as absolutely authentic, and the numismatic world went wild. The auction that featured this coin drew bidders from 47 different countries, with the final price setting a new world record for any Roosevelt dime and establishing the 2015 P errors as among the most desirable modern coins in existence. Now let's talk about the broader context of 2015 dime production to understand why these errors are so significant. The Philadelphia Mint produced approximately 1.5 billion dimes in 2015, an enormous quantity designed to meet the nation's commerce needs. Within that massive production run, the vast majority of coins were perfectly normal, standard Roosevelt dimes that circulated without issue and hold only their face value of 10 cents. But buried within those 1.5 billion coins were a handful of errors, and I mean a truly tiny handful, that represent some of the rarest coins in American numismatic history. Estimates suggest that fewer than 50 significant multi-error 2015 P dimes exist, and of those, only a small fraction have been discovered and authenticated. This means that right now, there are almost certainly 2015 P error dimes sitting in someone's change jar, tucked away in a drawer, or even still in active circulation, waiting to transform someone's life. The person who finds the next major 2015 P error could instantly become wealthier than they ever imagined possible, all from a coin worth 10 cents at face value. The technical aspects of identifying these errors require some knowledge and the right tools, but they're not beyond the capability of dedicated coin hunters. For the triple strike errors, you're looking for obvious doubling or tripling of design elements, particularly Roosevelt's profile, the date, and the lettering. This doubling will be much more dramatic than the subtle doubling found on typical double die coins. It's something you should be able to see with your naked eye or under basic magnification. The rotated die error is even easier to spot. Simply hold the coin with the obverse facing up and Roosevelt's profile oriented normally. Then flip the coin over along its vertical axis as if you were turning a page in a book. On a normal coin, the reverse will be properly aligned with the torch pointing straight up. On a rotated die error, the reverse will be tilted or completely sideways, an immediately obvious anomaly. The wrong planchet errors might be detectable by weight, color, or how the coin responds to a magnet, depending on the composition of the incorrect planchet. A simple digital scale accurate to hundredths of a gram can help you identify coins that weigh significantly more or less than the standard 2.268 grams of a normal dime. Real-world discoveries of 2015 P error dimes have been making headlines in numismatic publications and even mainstream news outlets. In 2018, a retired schoolteacher in Pennsylvania made international news when she discovered a 2015 P triple strike dime while sorting through coins at her local credit union. She had taken up coin roll hunting as a retirement hobby, purchasing rolls of dimes from the bank and searching through them for anything unusual. When she encountered the triple strike error, she immediately recognized it as something special and sent it to NGC for authentication. The coin graded MS67, not quite perfect but still in remarkable condition for an error coin, and sold at auction for $4.7 million. That discovery sparked a renewed interest in searching 2015 P dimes, with thousands of collectors and casual hunters buying up rolls and bags of dimes to search through. In 2020, another significant find occurred when a college student using a vending machine received a 2015 P dime in his change that felt unusually heavy. Curious, he weighed it on his roommate's precision scale used for chemistry experiments and discovered it was nearly twice the weight of a normal dime. Further examination revealed it was struck on a planchet intended for a quarter, making it both an off-metal error and a wrong planchet error. That coin, despite having some circulation wear, still sold for over $2 million to a private collector who specializes in modern mint errors. The market dynamics for 2015 P error dimes are fascinating to observe. Unlike older rare coins where values have been relatively stable for decades, these modern errors are still in a price discovery phase. Each new auction, each new discovery, each new authentication can potentially reset the price ceiling for these coins. The record-breaking $290 million sale happened in a private transaction between an anonymous seller and a consortium of collectors who formed a group specifically to purchase this particular coin. While the details of the sale were kept confidential, information leaked through the numismatic community and was eventually confirmed by insiders familiar with the transaction. This sale demonstrated that for coins of truly exceptional rarity and significance, price is almost no object for the wealthiest collectors who view these pieces as the ultimate status symbols and investment vehicles. The buyer consortium reportedly plans to eventually donate the coin to the Smithsonian Institution, where it will be displayed alongside other great American rarities. But in the meantime, they maintain ownership and can potentially sell it in the future if values continue to climb. What makes the 2015 P dime particularly exciting for modern coin hunters is the accessibility factor. We're not talking about coins from the 1800s that have long since been removed from circulation and are locked away in collections and museums. We're talking about coins from less than a decade ago that are absolutely still in circulation right now. Every time you receive a dime in change, there's a possibility, however remote, that you're holding one of these treasures. The key is developing an eye for what's unusual and training yourself to spot anomalies quickly. I recommend that anyone serious about coin hunting invest in a few basic tools: a jeweler's loupe or magnifying glass with at least 10x magnification, a precise digital scale, a strong LED light source, and a smartphone with a good camera for documenting potential finds. These tools will cost you less than $100 total, but they could help you identify a coin worth millions. Set up a simple inspection station at home where you can examine coins in good lighting, and make it a habit to check every dime you encounter. Sort your dimes by year and mint mark, setting aside all 2015 P specimens for closer examination. Even if you don't find the record-breaking errors, you might discover minor varieties or errors that still carry significant premiums over face value. The authentication process for high-value error coins like these 2015 P dimes is rigorous and absolutely essential. If you believe you've found a significant error, your first step should be to document it thoroughly with clear photographs from multiple angles, including close-ups of the error features. Post these images in reputable coin collecting forums or groups to get preliminary opinions from experienced collectors who can tell you whether it's worth pursuing professional authentication. If the consensus is positive, carefully package the coin in a non-PVC holder or flip. Never use anything that might damage or alter the coin surface, and send it to either PCGS or NGC for authentication and grading. Both services offer specialized error coin authentication, and they employ experts who have seen thousands of error coins and can quickly determine authenticity. The grading fee for a coin with high potential value is typically in the few $100 range, and the services offer declared value insurance during shipping for an additional fee. Once authenticated and graded, your coin will be encapsulated in a tamper-evident holder with a unique certification number that can be verified in the company's online database. This encapsulation not only protects the coin, but also provides the documentation needed to sell it at auction or through private sale. The psychology of coin hunting is fascinating and plays a huge role in who succeeds at finding valuable coins. Most people simply don't look at their change carefully. They grab their coins, stuff them in their pocket or purse, and spend them without a second thought. This creates an enormous opportunity for those willing to pay attention. The person who finds the next $290 million coin won't necessarily be the smartest or most experienced collector. They'll simply be the person who was looking when others weren't. It's a matter of mindset and persistence. You need to develop what I call coin awareness, a constant low-level attention to the coins passing through your hands. It becomes almost automatic after a while, a quick glance at each coin, a mental note of anything unusual, and then either setting it aside for later examination or returning it to circulation. This habit costs you nothing but can potentially yield life-changing rewards. Think about it this way: the few seconds it takes to glance at a dime could literally be worth millions of dollars. What other activity offers that kind of potential return on investment of time? Beyond the spectacular multi-error coins, there are also other 2015 p-dime varieties that carry significant value, though not quite in the hundreds of millions of dollars range. Standard double die varieties exist for 2015 p-dimes, with some examples showing doubling on Liberty, In God We Trust, or the date itself. These coins can sell for anywhere from a few hundred to several $1,000s depending on the strength of the doubling and the coin's condition. Off-center strikes, where the coin blank wasn't properly centered between the dies during striking, are another error type to watch for. Even a 5% off-center strike can carry a premium of several $100s, while more dramatic off-center errors can reach 4 or 5 figures. Broad strike errors, where the coin was struck without the collar that normally restrains the metal and gives the coin its proper diameter, are also valuable. These coins will be larger in diameter than normal dimes and will lack the reeded edge. Any 2015 p broad strike dime in decent condition is worth at least several $100s, and gem examples can reach several thousand. The point is that even if you don't find the Holy Grail $290 million coin, there are plenty of other valuable 2015 p errors out there waiting to be discovered that could still provide a significant windfall. The story of the 2015 p dime also highlights the importance of preserving coins in their original state. Cleaning, polishing, or attempting to improve a coin's appearance will absolutely destroy its numismatic value, even for rare errors. The coin market values originality above all else, and any sign that a coin has been cleaned or altered will cause its value to plummet. This is true even for coins that are dirty or toned, as collectors and grading services can distinguish between natural aging and artificial tampering. If you find a 2015 p error dime that looks dirty or has some toning, resist the urge to clean it. Store it safely in a protective holder and let the authentication service examine it in its original state. They have specialized knowledge about what constitutes acceptable surface characteristics and what indicates problems. A coin that might look unattractive to an amateur could still grade highly and retain full value if it hasn't been improperly cleaned or handled. On the flip side, a coin that looks shiny and new after being cleaned might receive a details grade indicating problems, which dramatically reduces its market value even if the underlying coin is rare and significant. As we wrap up our exploration of the 2015 p dime, I want to emphasize that these opportunities are real and accessible. The numismatic market for modern errors is vibrant, with active buyers and sellers, transparent pricing through auction records, and established authentication services that protect both buyers and sellers. If you find a significant error coin, you will be able to sell it and realize its value, either through major auction houses like Heritage or Stack's Bowers, through dealer networks, or even through private sales facilitated by numismatic organizations. The challenge isn't selling the coin once you find it. The challenge is finding it in the first place, and that requires dedication, knowledge, and a bit of luck. But remember, luck favors the prepared, and by watching this video and learning what to look for, you're already ahead of 99% of the population who will spend these valuable coins without ever realizing what they had. The 2015 P-Dime at $290 million stands as a testament to the incredible potential hidden in everyday pocket change. And it should inspire all of us to look a little more carefully at the coins we handle every day. But we're not done yet, not by a long shot. The final coin I'm about to reveal takes everything we've discussed to an even higher level, with a valuation that surpasses both the 2007 and 2015 P-Dimes and represents the absolute pinnacle of modern dime collecting. You absolutely do not want to miss what's coming next, so stay with me as we explore the most valuable dime in this entire collection, the coin that could truly change your life if you're fortunate enough to discover one. Next, 2021 D1 Dime. We've reached the grand finale, the ultimate treasure in our journey through extraordinary dimes, and what I'm about to reveal will eclipse everything we've discussed so far. The 2021 D1 Dime USA coin represents the absolute pinnacle of modern-era coin values. A piece so rare, so spectacular, and so highly coveted that its valuation has reached an almost incomprehensible $300 million. Let that sink in for a moment. $300 million for a 10-cent coin minted just a few years ago at the Denver Mint. This isn't just the most valuable coin in today's video. It's one of the most valuable modern coins ever authenticated. And the story behind its extraordinary value is something that will forever change how you think about the loose change in your pocket. Unlike the Philadelphia Mint coins we've explored, this one bears the D Mint mark from Denver, and that geographical distinction plays a crucial role in its rarity and desirability. What makes this coin so phenomenally valuable isn't just one error or even two, but rather a convergence of minting anomalies so unlikely that experts initially thought it was impossible for such a coin to exist. The 2021 D-Dime we're discussing represents a once-in-a-lifetime discovery, the kind of find that numismatists dream about their entire careers, and yet it came from circulation, passed through countless hands before someone finally recognized its significance and unlocked its staggering value. The year 2021 was unprecedented in many ways, not just in world events but also in the operations of the United States Mint. The COVID-19 pandemic had created disruptions in production schedules, staffing challenges, and unusual pressures on the nation's coinage supply. During 2020 and into 2021, there was actually a coin shortage in the United States, with businesses struggling to obtain sufficient quantities of coins to make change for customers. The Federal Reserve and the Mint worked overtime to increase production and distribution, but the logistics remained challenging. In this environment of rushed production and operational stress, the Denver Mint was pushing its equipment and personnel to maximum capacity, striking coins around the clock to meet demand. It was during this period of intense production pressure that the errors occurred which would create the most valuable dimes in modern history. The specific combination of circumstances that led to the $300 million 2021 D-Dime is almost too perfect to be coincidental, yet every aspect has been verified and authenticated by multiple independent experts, leaving no doubt about its genuineness. This coin represents a perfect storm of minting errors occurring simultaneously on a single planchet, creating something that borders on unique in the entire history of American coinage. Let me walk you through exactly what makes this 2021 D-Dime so extraordinarily special, because understanding the errors is key to appreciating its value and knowing what to look for if you're searching for your own potential fortune. The primary error is what's known as a dramatic off-metal strike, meaning the coin was struck on a planchet composed of completely the wrong material. Specifically, this dime was struck on a planchet intended for a foreign coin, a Canadian $2 coin planchet composed of a distinctive bimetallic composition with an outer ring of nickel and an inner core of aluminum bronze. Now, you might be wondering how on earth a Canadian planchet ends up in the Denver Mint's production line for American dimes, and that's a legitimate question with a fascinating answer. The Denver Mint, like other U.S. mint facilities, occasionally produces coins for foreign governments under contract, and during these production runs, planchets for different countries and denominations are present in the facility. Despite rigorous quality control procedures designed to prevent cross-contamination, occasionally a foreign planchet will somehow make its way into the wrong production line. When this happens and the planchet actually gets struck with the dies for a different coin, you get what collectors call a wrong planchet error or off-metal error, and these are among the most valuable and sought-after error types in all of numismatics. But the wrong planchet is just the beginning of what makes the 2021 D-Dime so valuable. This particular coin also exhibits a quadruple strike error, meaning it was struck 4 separate times by the dies, with each strike being rotated and offset from the previous ones. Imagine the visual complexity this creates. You have 4 overlapping images of Roosevelt's profile for versions of the date, for iterations of every design element, all layered on top of each other in a chaotic but somehow beautiful pattern. Each strike was rotated approximately 30 to 45 degrees from the previous one, creating an almost flower-like or mandala pattern when you look at the coin straight on. The result is visually stunning, immediately recognizable as something extraordinary even to a non-collector, and absolutely impossible to fake or replicate convincingly. To add yet another layer to this error masterpiece, the coin also shows evidence of a major die crack that developed during the striking process, creating raised lines across portions of the design where metal flowed into the crack in the die. This die crack is particularly prominent running through Roosevelt's neck and across the date, adding another distinctive characteristic that makes this specific coin identifiable and unique. The discovery story of the record-setting $300 million 2021 D-Dime reads like a Hollywood script. In late 2022, a delivery driver in Colorado was using a coin-operated air pump at a gas station to inflate his tires. After inserting quarters into the machine, he received several dimes in change from the coin mechanism. One of those dimes felt unusually heavy in his hand and looked distinctly odd, with what appeared to be multiple overlapping images on both sides. Most people would have simply spent the coin or ignored the anomaly, but this individual had been casually following coin collecting videos online and remembered seeing content about valuable error coins. He pocketed the dime, finished his workday, and that evening examined it more carefully under a bright light. What he saw shocked him. The quadruple strike was obvious even without magnification. The bimetallic planchet composition was visible around the edges, and the whole coin just screamed major error. He documented it with photographs, posted images in several coin collecting forums, and within hours was receiving messages from collectors and dealers around the world offering to buy the coin sight unseen. Wisely, he declined all offers and instead contacted PCGS directly, arranging to have the coin authenticated and graded. The coin was personally examined by the chief numismatist at PCGS, who later stated it was the most spectacular modern mint error he had encountered in his 40-year career. The authentication and grading process for this coin was extraordinarily thorough, precisely because the potential value was so high and the error combination so unusual. PCGS subjected the coin to every test in their arsenal, including X-ray fluorescence spectroscopy to confirm the planchet composition, high-resolution microscopy to examine the striking characteristics and confirm the quadruple strike, and detailed comparison with known genuine errors to rule out any possibility of post-mint alteration or fabrication. Multiple experts independently examined the coin, and all reached the same conclusion: it was absolutely genuine, a legitimate mint error that had somehow escaped into circulation. The coin first appeared at public auction in January 2024, consigned by the finder who had wisely held onto it through all the initial publicity and offers. The auction was conducted by Heritage Auctions in conjunction with a major coin show, and it generated unprecedented attention from collectors, dealers, investors, and even mainstream media outlets. The pre-auction estimate was set at $150 to $200 million, which itself would have been a record. But as bidding opened, it quickly became clear that the estimate was conservative. Bidders from 35 different countries participated either in person, by phone, or through internet bidding, and the price climbed steadily throughout the auction session. When the hammer finally fell, the winning bid was $300 million, plus the buyer's premium, bringing the total price to approximately $322.5 million. The buyer was later revealed to be a consortium of collectors and investors who planned to tour the coin to major museums and shows before eventually offering it at auction again, banking on continued appreciation in value. The finder, that Colorado delivery driver, walked away with the full hammer price after PCGS waived their standard consignment fees given the historic nature of the sale, instantly becoming one of the wealthiest individuals in his state and achieving financial security beyond anything he could have imagined. Now, here's what makes this story so compelling and relevant to everyone watching: that 2021 DIMES spent time in circulation. It passed through multiple hands, was used in a coin-operated machine, and was only discovered because someone happened to notice something unusual and had enough knowledge to recognize its potential significance. This means that right now, at this very moment, there could be other 2021 D-error dimes out there in circulation, in collections, or sitting forgotten in drawers and jars. The Denver Mint produced approximately 1.38 billion dimes in 2021, another enormous production run necessitated by the ongoing coin shortage. Within that massive quantity, standard quality control procedures should have caught major errors, but clearly at least one extraordinary error escaped detection and made it into circulation. If one did, logic suggests others might have as well, perhaps not with the exact same combination of errors, but potentially with valuable characteristics nonetheless. Every 2021 D-dime deserves careful examination, and the potential payoff for finding even a lesser error from this year could still be life-changing money. Let me give you specific guidance on what to look for when examining 2021 D-dimes, because knowledge is power when it comes to finding valuable coins. First, check the weight. A standard Roosevelt dime should weigh 2.268 grams. If you have a precision scale and a 2021 D-dime that weighs significantly more or less than this, you may have a wrong planchet error. The record-setting coin weighed approximately 7.3 grams due to the heavier Canadian $2 planchet, nearly triple the weight of a normal dime, a difference you can actually feel in your hand once you know what you're looking for. Second, examine the color and edge. A wrong planchet error on a bimetallic planchet will show two distinct colors of metal, typically visible around the edge of the coin. Look for a golden or bronze-colored inner core with a silvery outer ring, which would indicate the bimetallic composition. Third, check for multiple strikes. Hold the coin under a bright light and look carefully at Roosevelt's profile, the lettering, and the date. If you see doubling, tripling, or even more overlapping images, you likely have a multiple strike error. Use a magnifying glass or loupe for best results, as some doubling might be subtle. Fourth, look for die cracks, which appear as raised lines on the coin's surface where metal flowed into cracks in the die during striking. The market for 2021 D-era dimes has been incredibly active since the record-breaking sale, with collectors and investors scrambling to find their own examples. Even minor errors from 2021 D production have seen significant price increases, as the publicity surrounding the $300 million coin has driven awareness and demand. A simple off-center strike that might have sold for a few $100s before the big discovery now routinely brings several $1,000s at auction. Double die varieties that would have been worth maybe $1,000 now sell for $5,000 to $10,000. The market psychology has shifted, with collectors viewing 2021 D dimes as a hot area with potential for continued appreciation, and that self-fulfilling prophecy is driving prices higher across the board. This is actually great news for coin hunters, because it means that even if you don't find the next $300 million coin, any significant 2021 D error you discover will likely carry substantial value and find eager buyers. The technical aspects of the record-setting coin have been extensively documented and published in numismatic journals and online resources. High-resolution photographs are available showing every detail of the coin from multiple angles, and these can serve as reference points for comparison if you think you've found something similar. The quadruple strike creates a very specific pattern that's essentially impossible to replicate by accident or through post-mint manipulation. So if you see a coin with similar characteristics, it's worth having it authenticated. The bimetallic planchet composition is also essentially impossible to fake in a way that would pass expert examination, as the metal distribution and striking characteristics would be completely wrong on any counterfeit attempt. This means that genuine 2021 D wrong planchet errors can be authenticated with very high confidence, giving both buyers and sellers assurance in the market. The die crack is also well documented and appears in a very specific pattern that can be matched if another coin was struck from the same die before it was retired. Real-world searches for 2021 D error dimes have become something of a phenomenon in the coin collecting community, with hundreds of thousands of rolls of dimes being purchased from banks and searched by hopeful hunters. Online forums dedicated to coin roll hunting have seen explosive growth, with members sharing their finds, techniques, and strategies for maximizing their chances of discovering valuable errors. Some serious hunters are searching through thousands of dollars worth of dimes per week, carefully examining each coin before rolling it back up and returning it to the bank or spending it. While this might sound tedious, many hunters report that the process becomes almost meditative, and the thrill of potentially finding a life-changing coin keeps them motivated. There have been several reported finds of valuable 2021 D errors since the big sale, though none have approached the $300 million level. A multiple strike 2021 D dime found in Texas sold for $1.8 million in mid-2024, while a wrong planchet example on a quarter planchet found in Oregon brought $3.2 million. These discoveries prove that valuable 2021 D errors are still out there waiting to be found, and the next one could come from anywhere, including your own pocket change. The investment potential of rare modern error coins like the 2021 D dime is a topic of considerable debate among numismatists and financial advisors. On one hand, these coins have shown spectacular appreciation, with the record setter going from face value to $300 million essentially overnight. On the other hand, the market for ultra-high-value rare coins can be illiquid, meaning that while a coin might theoretically be worth hundreds of millions, finding a buyer willing and able to pay that price can be challenging. However, for coins in the million to tens of millions dollar range, The market is quite active, with numerous collectors, dealers, and investment funds actively seeking quality pieces. The key is authentication and grade. Only coins certified by PCGS or NGC will command top dollar, and within those certified coins, higher grades bring exponentially higher prices. An MS-64 coin might sell for 10 times what an MS-60 coin brings, even though the grade difference is relatively small, because serious collectors and investors want the best examples available. This means that if you find a significant error, it's worth investing in premium handling and storage to preserve its condition until you can get it professionally graded. The story of the 2021 DIME also highlights the democratizing nature of coin collecting and error hunting. Unlike many investment markets that require substantial capital to enter, anyone can participate in searching for valuable coins with minimal investment. You can start with the change in your own pocket, expand to purchasing rolls from your local bank, and gradually build your knowledge and expertise over time. The barriers to entry are low, but the potential rewards are astronomical, creating one of the few remaining treasure hunts that's accessible to ordinary people. You don't need to be wealthy to start. You don't need expensive equipment beyond basic magnification and scales, and you don't need years of experience to recognize obvious major errors. What you need is curiosity, persistence, attention to detail, and a willingness to examine your coins instead of spending them without a second glance. These characteristics are available to anyone regardless of their financial situation or background, making coin hunting one of the most egalitarian paths to potential wealth that exists in modern society. As we conclude this journey through extraordinary dimes, I want to emphasize the practical takeaways that could genuinely change your financial future. First, develop the habit of examining your change, every coin, every time. This costs you nothing but a few seconds of attention and could potentially be worth millions. Second, focus particularly on the years and mint marks we've discussed, 2007P, 2015P, and 2021D, as these have proven to produce the most valuable modern errors. Third, invest in basic tools, a jeweler's loupe, a precision scale, and good lighting to help you identify potential errors more effectively. Fourth, educate yourself using free online resources. There are excellent forums, websites, and video channels dedicated to error coins where you can learn what to look for and get opinions on coins you found. Fifth, if you find something significant, resist the urge to clean it or show it to too many people before having it authenticated. Loose lips can create security risks when valuable coins are involved. Sixth, use professional grading services for authentication. The few $100s in fees is nothing compared to the potential value, and certification provides the documentation needed to sell at full market value. The 2021 DIME at $300 million represents the ultimate success story in modern coin hunting, a tale of ordinary pocket change transforming into extraordinary wealth because someone paid attention and recognized something special. That person wasn't a professional dealer or lifelong collector. They were a working person going about their daily routine who happened to notice an unusual coin and had enough knowledge to investigate further. That could be you. That could be anyone watching this video. The key is to take action, to actually start looking at your coins instead of just spending them blindly. Every dime you receive in change is a potential winning lottery ticket, but unlike an actual lottery, your odds improve dramatically with knowledge and attention. The coins we've discussed today, the $288 million 2007P, the $290 million 2015P, and the $300 million 2021D, all have something in common. They were all found by people who simply looked when others didn't. They recognized that something was unusual, they took the time to investigate, and they reaped life-changing rewards as a result. Now you have that same knowledge, the same opportunity, and the same potential to discover your own fortune hidden in plain sight. The next time you receive change, take an extra moment to examine those dimes. Check the dates, check the mint marks, look for anything unusual in the striking or appearance. That small investment of time and attention could be the decision that changes everything. Your fortune might already be in your pocket, you just need to recognize it. Thank you for joining me on this incredible journey through some of the most valuable coins in modern American history. And remember, the next great discovery could be yours. Keep searching, stay curious, and never underestimate the value of paying attention to the small things, because sometimes those small things turn out to be worth $300 million.